Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Megan. Thanks so much for watching. I make videos all about mom things, vegan lifestyle things, and my weight loss journey. Today I am back with a video about endometriosis myths, as well as why I will be seeing a new surgeon later this week. Before I get into everything, make sure you are subscribed and hit the bell so you don't miss any updates, and also go follow me over on my Instagram. So I'm gonna get started with the top 5 endometriosis myths, because not everybody knows about endometriosis. It can be kind of confusing for a lot of people. People don't really understand it, especially if people don't have it themselves. They really don't understand it, even women. So let's get into it. The first one is that a lot of people think it is just a painful period, and that is not the case at all. Or that people think that painful periods are normal, and to some degree, like, cramps are normal, but if it is so painful that it interrupts your day, that is not normal. And endometriosis causes more than just painful periods. You can have pain during the middle of the month. You can have pain with intercourse. You can have pain with ovulation. I am one of those people. You can have GI type symptoms like constipation, diarrhea. It can look sort of like irritable bowel syndrome. You can have also chest pain. There's something called thoracic endometriosis, where it escapes from the abdominal cavity and somehow ends up in the thoracic cavity, which is like where your lungs and stuff are. Some people have trouble breathing when it escapes up there. It's even been found in the brain in some people. Endometriosis is crazy, y'all. It's crazy. So it's not just a painful period. That myth is busted. Next, it can be diagnosed with just an office visit. That is fake news. In order to get diagnosed, you have to have a laparoscopy. They do a biopsy of that tissue that they think is abnormal, and then they send it to a lab. The lab confirms that it's endometrial-like tissue found outside of the uterus. So, to explain a little bit further, the lining of the uterus is called endometrium. For whatever reason, tissue from inside the uterus makes its way outside of the uterus. It implants itself elsewhere. It makes its own estrogen. It does its own thing. It causes its own problems. And so they call it endometrial-like tissue. And there you have it. So your doctor can suspect that you might have endometriosis, but the only way that they can actually confirm that you do have it is by having surgery called a laparoscopy. And yeah, they can't just like say you have it. They can assume that you have it, but until they actually do a surgery and confirm it, it could be a toss-up. It could be other things going on too. The third myth is that you can treat it with birth control. Y'all, I hate hormonal birth control. It ruined my life a little bit. Hormonal birth control is like sticking a band-aid on things. It suppresses endometriosis symptoms. It can kind of like calm those symptoms down a little bit. But once you go off of those hormones, that endometriosis and all of the symptoms you had before are going to come back with a vengeance, and it is not going to be pleasant. So 10 out of 10, don't recommend. If you have a doctor saying, oh, let me put you on this birth control, it's gonna fix everything, don't listen to them. Find someone who knows what the heck they're talking about. Find a specialist that you really, really trust, that's like fully vetted. If you need to find a specialist in your area, a good place to look is called Nancy's Nook. There is a group on Facebook. There is like strict criteria to be able to be a Nancy's Nook doctor. The surgeon that I'm going to see is not yet a Nancy's Nook doctor, but she's very promising and young and knowledgeable and highly recommended in my area. And my previous surgeon was actually taken off the Nancy's Nook list because he was doing some things that go against the latest research. But I found that out after the fact, so I digress. The fourth thing is that endometriosis can be cured by pregnancy. This kind of goes along with the last one. Pregnancy can kind of suppress the symptoms of endometriosis, but eventually after baby is born, when those hormones kind of level off, those symptoms are going to come back. And I can 100% confirm that that happened to me. I will talk a little bit about that later. And the fifth one is that endometriosis can be cured by having a hysterectomy. This is like the most ridiculous thing ever. Because if it could be cured by a hysterectomy, then everybody would be having hysterectomies, right? And that just doesn't make sense because the endometrial-like tissue is outside of the uterus. So please explain to me how removing the uterus is going to fix the problem. You got to get rid of the endometrial-like tissue that's outside of the uterus to fix the problem, right? Right. That's so dumb. That one really annoys me. Now, there are other common problems with people who have endometriosis. One of them is called adenomyosis, which is an issue with the actual like uterus itself, like the muscle wall of the uterus. That makes sense. Curing endometriosis by removing the uterus does not make sense because the issue is not with the uterus, it's with stuff that's made its way out of the uterus that is causing the problem. So anyways, those are the top 5 myths for endometriosis. Now let me get into why I will be seeing a new surgeon this coming Wednesday. So in May 2018, I had a laparoscopy and hysteroscopy where the surgeon did excision surgery basically and removed some endometriosis that he found on my bowels and found out that I had a unicornuate uterus. He basically told me after that surgery that I had to get pregnant within 6 months or I had to go on Lupron. In the groups that I'm in on Facebook, Lupron is not recommended as treatment anymore, and a lot of people say if your doctor or surgeon says go on Lupron to run for the hills. And that's kind of what I'm doing at this point, to be honest, because that is not what I want. That puts you into basically like an early menopause via like a drug-induced menopause, and that does not sound pleasant. So in May 2019, I was lucky enough to have my daughter Seely. She is now 2 years old, and around the time she was like 9 months old is when I started having a lot of my endometriosis symptoms come back. And really, I got my period back with her really early at only 10 weeks postpartum because of some latch issues. And she had a posterior tongue tie that my pediatrician didn't quite get when she clipped her tongue the first time. So that caused latch issues and supply issues, and it cascaded to make my supply drop enough so that my cycle came back at 10 weeks postpartum. So I think that is part of the reason why my symptoms started coming back so early, because I was still breastfeeding her at 9 months postpartum and my supply was pretty good at that point still. So I started noticing that I was in a lot of pain in March 2020, and I was pretty dead set that I was not going to have another surgery, like really dead set. And here I am going to see another surgeon, because since then, so over the last like year, almost year and a half now, my symptoms have become increasingly worse, and it is to the point now that over the last, I would say 6 months, that around ovulation time I have almost crippling ovulation pain, where I can feel the inflammation in my pelvis like I used to. And there are times where I have a full 2 to 3 weeks of pelvic pain through my cycle, and my cycle is typically anywhere from 20 to 31-ish days long. And my cycle seems to be becoming more and more like unpredictable as far as the length of it. It was pretty consistent between probably 27 and 29 days, but like I said, I did have one recently that was only 20 days, and then recently it has been stretching out to like 31 days, which is really odd for me because for the longest time I really averaged like 28 days. So I'm really thankful that I went ahead and scheduled an appointment with this surgeon. And really, in the area that I live, we don't have a lot of options for good surgeons. We don't have any Nancy's Nook surgeons in our area that are like fully vetted. There is this newer surgeon that I'm going to, and based on some things that I've read about her and interviews that I've watched, she's very motivated. She is trying to get a team together. She wants to be the best of the best, and she really is I don't want to say like motivated to like be on that Nancy's Nook list, but sort of like she wants to be up there in quality of care as the I can't remember the name of it. I'll put it somewhere on the screen, but it is like the Endometriosis Center that is up in Atlanta that people pay out of pocket for, because they are like basically a cash-based clinic, because they don't want to deal with the constraints of insurance. So basically that clinic is out of network for all insurances, just because the doctors like don't want to deal with the constraints of insurance, which is completely understandable. So anyways, I just hope that I like her, because I'm very selective and I'm very picky. I'm more like nervous-sided to go to this appointment, because I am tired, to say the least, of being in pain. And so TMI warning to any family that's watching this video right now. I hope you're not watching this video, because like, why do you care? But any family that's watching this video, it has been at least, hold on, let me look at my app really quick. I want to say Hold please. Getting my app. All right, it's been since Monday, since adult fun time has happened, and I am still in pain from Monday. And it wasn't even like crazy 50 Shades aggressive. Maybe I shouldn't say 50 Shades. Maybe I should compare it more to like Twilight level, because I just watched that. Did you guys know that that is on Netflix right now? FYI, it's on Netflix if you guys love Twilight like I do. I just binged watched the entire Twilight saga over the last couple of days because it's been a while since I watched it. Anyways, back on track. Yeah, so it's been, you know, since Monday. It's now Saturday night and I'm still in pain. And that's how it goes for me, and it's frustrating, and I'm over it. I'm just over it. I just want to be able to live my life without pain. And I know that this is the result of my previous surgeon not doing a thorough job, not getting it all, because they say that if they do a thorough enough excision, that there's like an 80% chance that it's not going to come back. And I truly believe that he didn't do a good enough job, because he claims that the only part that he cut off was off of my bowel, and I can look at some of the pictures now and I can see some endometriosis spots that were missed. And obviously I haven't read the op report because I think I should be able to read it now, but it's not available on the portal because the hospital like changed hands and all of that. But I have sent that over to my doctor, so hopefully, the new doctor, so hopefully she can read all of that and see exactly what was done. But yeah, I'm just tired of being in pain, and I know that my pain is not probably as severe as other people's pain, but just knowing from my experience as a physical therapist, my pain is my pain, your pain is your pain. Everybody's pain levels are different, and what is a, you know, like 3 out of 10 to me, maybe a 6 out of 10 to someone else. So pain is really subjective and individualized, and I do have a relatively high pain tolerance. I mean, I dealt with endometriosis pain for 27 years before I had my first, well, really 28 years, right? Yeah, almost 28 years, because I was not 28 yet. I was like 27 and a half. Before I had surgery the first time, before I even like sought out help, before I thought anything was wrong, because I come from the land of not talking about reproductive health, not even saying the word tampon. Heaven forbid we talk about sex or anything like that. So just in my like culture, background, whatever you would like to call it, we just don't talk about this kind of thing. And so I grew up thinking that the amount of pain I was in is completely normal, and that everybody has that amount of pain and I should just deal with it. And so I, you know, grew up thinking it was normal. And honestly, like, I wouldn't even take ibuprofen. I would be almost to the point of throwing up and still would be like, yeah, I don't need any pain meds, I'm fine, I'll just deal with it, it'll be okay. So that's not normal. And yeah, so anyways, I am hoping to vlog how that appointment goes on Wednesday. So stay posted, make sure you are subscribed to my channel and hit the bell notification so that you'll be notified. if I do end up vlogging that video, I will upload it. It'll be like a middle of the week kind of video. I won't upload it on my normal Sunday, like regular upload day. But anyways, that is going to be it for this video. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!